So to start my top 10, um, I've never done this before, but I I swear by Tailwind now. Um, liq liquid calories. If you when you're doing, to me, there's a point where you're digesting food becomes hard.
Yeah.
Um, Having a variety makes a big difference. But to know at any point you can lean on liquid calories, you're gonna get it down, and it's gonna give you what you need. For me, that was a big help for this race, I think.
Yeah.
So that would be my first tip to somebody that's new.
Yeah. I mean, my having a bold training program that really pushes you, it gives you a lot of confidence going into these races. So there's probably three areas. One, I mean, you put up consistently high miles per month. That's one way to do it. The one reason I had the most confidence going in is because I did the back-to-back 100-mile weeks and felt amazing, right? So anything you can do to accomplish increasing your confidence, whether that's a 30-mile Saturday, 20-mile Sunday, back-to-back 100-mile weeks, a solid 300-mile month going into the race event, those high mileage, however you break it up and whatever works for you,
Right.
Gives you a lot of confidence, in those late miles. And that's why I think, I ran 71 straight miles without a single issue because I had the training, the training was there and it was done.
Yeah, but I don't think there was any added advantage to the mileage I did over the miles you did. I think
you got to find the sweet spot, but whatever worked for you and your schedule. But it's got to be tough, though. I mean, it's got to be rigorous where there's days where you don't want to go out and you go out anyways.
Right. But I think it's that your body used to high mileage.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, multiple times over and over, just kind of adapting to that.
That's right.
Put us going into the race in such a good spot.
Yeah.
But there definitely is a point where it's diminishing returns, or I don't think there's a need to put in 3,500 like I did.
Right.
Like you said, it's more the big weeks and having lots of those.
Right.
Yeah.
It gives you confidence.
My second one, I'm gonna say, which you and I both, you ran into this first, and I ran into it second. The next lap, chafing your ass.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody was farting like us on the course.
I know.
but
I didn't hear anybody.
I don't think I really honestly didn't have any stomach issues to speak of. And I don't think you had any real.
I don't have stomach issues ever.
But we definitely had gas.
Yeah.
And I chafed my armpit. I'll sometimes, you and I both have got chafing here.
Yeah.
I've got chafing maybe on my feet or my shoes or my nipple. Like I chafed everything I thought I could think of that chafes. My butt got chafed. And that was annoying. And if I'd attacked that a little bit sooner.
Right. Well, and that was actually, I was going to ask you because I let it go way too long, like 4 laps too long. Yeah. I don't know why. I just thought, oh, I can deal with this. And I'd never used Vaseline before. And then it got excruciating. And then when I did apply it, it like felt like I had chili peppers, down my crack. So that really spooked me because I didn't know how long it was going to take to go away. But then the next lap I was fine and it was gone. Does it make sense to do it preemptively? Is there any research out there to do it preemptively?
I mean, the chafing works. Like I definitely have, like I said, I've had issues here and I've had issues on my nipples and different spots, and putting the stuff on definitely made it not.
Yeah.
Even though I do think it's literally the moist air from farts.
Yeah.
Combined with the sweatiness of that area.
Right.
But
yeah, so I agree. That's nut butter or Vaseline will be a go-to for me.
Yep, just to start off.
Yeah.
All right.
This one kind of goes without saying, but honestly, I'm surprised. I don't know that everybody's kind of researched enough, but find a shoe that you absolutely love, like where you don't have to worry about the performance of that shoe over a 24-hour period of time. I mean, I brought backup shoes, but I wore 1 pair of socks and 1 pair of shoes the entire time, and they performed flawlessly, right? And obviously that's Atreyu. We both, you and I, love them to death. No, chafing, rubbing, They're just an unbelievably good shoe. We're borderline maybe needing something different for a more technical trail. Like they were sufficient, I thought, for that trail. But I have so much confidence in my shoes with the amount of miles that we put into them. It's something that takes that off the table, you know,
Yep.
which is helpful.
Yep. And for anybody that hasn't done close to a 100-mile race or 50, these longer distances, I mean, if you Google any of these types of races and look for recommendations, people will talk about dealing with blisters. It comes up.
Yeah.
You and I went into that race knowing that's something we don't have to deal with whatsoever.
Yeah.
We have shoes that don't have anything. There's nothing even to chafe.
Right.
So besides between your toes, which that brings me to my next recommendation. Injinji socks. I am a huge fan. I will never, ever run anything distance without having those on. That I put them on. It feels weird having fabric between my toes. It's immediately out of my head as soon as I start running, and it never comes up again. And I know any kind of run where my feet get a little moist, I'm gonna get chafing from my big toe to my toe next to it. Just from my toenail rubbing against a little bit. I got none of that. My 100%. So
yeah, I'm gonna try them. I'm skeptical, but you've introduced me to some other stuff that I've been skeptical about, and I'm gonna give them a shot. I don't have sock issues. They're a pair of like $2 Dicks,
right,
black cutoffs, and I wore the same pair the whole way. But I do want to try them because that could become an issue further down the road, and I want to give those a shot. They're not compression though, right?
No, they do sell compression versions, but no.
Right. I saw
really...
a lot of guys in ankle compression, which I'm also a little bit curious about maybe adding in. And I would say I probably need to add an ankle sock, something a little bit higher up the calf, just because of the amount of dirt, dust, rock, that kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah. I've done compression before, but I find that like I kind of get annoyed with it after a while. Like my skin gets itchy, and like I'm sick of having that fabric on my calf.
Right.
And I don't feel like I get that much gain out of the compression personally.
Right.
I'd rather be free. For me running, I like to run free and feel as loose, have as little, like even just having, like you ran with your vest a bit more than I did.
Yeah.
When I took the vest off, I felt just looser.
Good. I know.
Even though I like the feel of the vest.
Yeah. I did. Side note, I don't feel like I had a hydration issue. So it was really nice being able to run majority of my laps with nothing, no water bottle, no hand bottle, no vest. I'm not sure that's the smartest thing long term, but it's something I'm going to play around with. So just nice to be free.
Yep.
Okay, the other thing for ultras, and this might be a little bit too technical, but for me, I can substantially tell the difference between training with additional strength training and running without strength training. So if I just go out and run and I don't do any strength training in the gym, squats, pull-ups, muscular endurance, I feel weak day of the race. This race, again, going back to my confidence, I just felt so strong, free from injury, strong back, strong knees, strong legs, plus all of the miles that I had incorporated. So mentally and physically, it was a big boost. And I will always continue to incorporate that is the strength training.
Yep. No, I definitely I need to start doing that more for sure. I think the one I'm going to give this as a recommendation, even though I haven't done it, but it's on my list, backwards down the hill.
Yeah.
It's only applicable on extremely steep hills, which we had in this race, but watching his technique, he was faster than everybody else going down the hills. Right. I'm sure he was spending less energy than any of us. And I know if I was doing that, my toes would be 100%. And toes are part of what took me out. The downhill part of what took me out of that distance. If I was doing that technique, who knows? But the one drawback, I think you need more. We're the only two knuckleheads running in road shoes.
Right.
Which I think everybody else is missing out on something.
I do too.
But the downhill backwards having no real tread as you're going backwards might be an issue. So that's the one place where you'd have to think about that trade-off. But either way, that's a good technique.
Right. if that track was wet at all, we would have been
Yeah,
in rough shape.
Yeah.
You know,
There was even a couple spots where it was a little moist. I could feel like
yeah,
a little bit of slide on my shoes.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. The other one for ultra running that is a lot of people often say is try to stay present, and I felt like because you and I were genuinely having a really good time for 18 straight hours, it was easy for me to stay present in this race. I mean, I was very rarely someplace else or kind of starting to go down that negative route of, oh gosh, is this going to become a problem? Or even, I mean, I had issues. I had the rash. I had the knee issue. I had a lap where the last 2 miles I had to go to the bathroom really bad, like really, really bad. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. So there was times in which I had the opportunity for it to become kind of a negative snowball, like suckfest.
Yep.
But we just were having such a good time, like in the moment, laughing, joking, talking. And that really does make a difference. So we had the benefit of each other being there side by side. But if you can find ways to do that in your training and in your race to kind of just keep your minds like focused on, hey, I'm here, I'm having fun, this is why I want to be here. It over 24 hours, 18 hours, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, without a doubt, being in the moment. I had told myself going in, which I think was actually a good help, just telling myself, you're okay. You're okay right now. Like this, there's nothing going on that you can't handle. You're okay.
Right.
And every time I told myself that, and I kind of like mentally I do literally a mental check, kind of like my legs aren't that bad, my knees aren't that bad, I just kind of go through my body. So what? I'm a little bit out of breath. This hill's gonna end. I'm okay. That helped a lot.
Yeah.
So, I got to say, my last big tip, which we've talked about this many times before. I'm a solo runner. I run on my own. I like the solitude of it. It's my meditation. But having your cousin and one of your best friends hanging out with you on a run made it freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love doing this with you.
Yeah.
It was such a cool freaking experience, and just the ups and downs, just everything about it was so much more amplified because of you. So thank you so much for that. And I know it's not easy. We've talked about this. There's few of us out there. If you're really looking to do ultra marathons and going these long distances, there aren't many people out there that like us, let alone a cousin.
Right.
But if you can find somebody, even if it's not for your training runs, it makes it awesome.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. And having your family there and their support, just kind of watching that level of excitement, is what makes the whole event worthwhile. And you and I do so many miles on our own, that having just one day where everybody can kind of come together, share in it, experience it. So, if you can get your family excited about what you're trying to accomplish and support it, then it's a huge payoff when they get to see what you've accomplished. They get to share in the experience. I mean, I'm super excited to have my kids there next year. I know they'll love it and think it's fun and hilarious, and just getting to share those moments with them because you work so hard for it and everything like that. And Dee's a trooper, man. She would come back with like little stories from the campfire in between breaks and is so excited to help. It was awesome. I loved all of that.
Yeah.
That my one last step. So I have one takeaway from this race, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I think for the actual event, try to have something to look forward to. Like, so there's two things. One, the Amato sandwich at 6 p.m. Like I was like in my head, I was like, I cannot wait to have this Amato sandwich.
We are not sponsored by Amatos, but we'd be happy for one.
Having like that, something about that sandwich in particular. I mean, our families both love them, but it's just such a great, it doesn't have to be an Amatos, but something to just like know that you're going to be able to enjoy it in the middle of the race.
You got to talk to me about this. So I'm going to be putting up pictures all through this video of like this for different times. And my girls were explaining to me, like, you were trying to like cheers me with your Amatos.
Yeah.
But like I was still unwrapping mine and you're already almost done your whole sandwich.
Yeah.
How did you get that down so fast?
I had to eat half of it. I just like in one bite took one half down while you're unwrapping.
Do you normally eat like that?
What
Mr. No Carbs.
I've had, it's the no carbs, yeah. I've had 2 Amatos on my ultra runs, and they've both gone down like sugar pills, man. Like they just right down the hatch. So I'm gonna always have that. Like that'll be like one of my race like events. So it's like I gotta have my Amatos. I didn't feel like it added any negativity, from a nutrition perspective. But the other one that I've now found out was Jeffrey he loves these ice cube gum things in these little containers, and they got all these different flavors, and he's been really into them. And so I got one before the race, and it was like every lap I just would put one little one in my pocket, and then about halfway through I'd pop it in my mouth, and it was just a nice little change.
And then you'd spit it out and be pissed.
Yeah, and then it would, as I was breathing heavy, it would fall out of my mouth, and I'd try to bobble it. But so now I'm gonna always have an ice cubes pack with me everywhere I go, because it was just, I don't know, it's just a nice little treat, non-race related, just like, yeah, some gum. And I'm not actually a big gum chewer, so trying to make some fun out of the event and having like little things that you can enjoy or just pepper in that like add some levity to the situation is helpful.
Yep. And I'd add to that, like, the more variety of flavors, textures that you can have, the better. That's where I'm going next time. It's just, I want just a layout of different things. And they all went to like this Greek restaurant in Auburn, which they all were like, the best, this is the best wrap I've ever had, the best burger I've ever had, the best gyro I've ever had. And I'm sitting there like, and you didn't bring me any? Like, what? You're killing me. Just different. And I'm not complaining, D, if you watch this, but just the variety is huge. You're not going to know what you feel like in the moment.
Right.
A Sour Patch that hits the spot this lap. The next one is like, I want a pickle. The next one, you just variety of flavors, I think is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Yep. And gum is another. Yeah, it seems like a great thing just to throw in your mouth and.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. No, as usual, thanks for doing this. I don't know. Do you have any? I think that's most of what we wanted to get to. Any other thoughts?
No, I'm excited to get back on the road, train hard. I'm gonna finish out this year high miles, go into the winter even higher miles, and then I want to try and get some races on the calendar. You and I have been doing this pretty much solo, just going out and running crazy miles. There was something about that last man standing event that I'm pretty addicted to now, and want to duplicate. Not everything, not all of my accomplishments I want to do on a trail or on a race, but I definitely want to have a couple of those to look forward to, throughout the year. So I got to do some research there.
What do you think? What do you think your realistic? I mean, where do you think being real, hundreds for sure falling next year.
Yeah.
And if we're talking that race specifically, I don't see why I couldn't get to 150.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have not yet found an upper limit. Every time we do one of these, we put on more miles, but it's not just the quantitative side of it. It's what you learn from your failures. I mean, this is the reason why we're doing this. Is the quintessential. You have to go out and suffer and fail in order to refine the process to be successful. And yeah, I'm bummed that I only got 75 miles and, didn't hit my goal this past weekend, but I know exactly what I learned. I know I'm going to apply it again. I'm hungrier now today than I was a week ago, to be honest, because I still have that carrot out in front of me.
Yep.
So, and every time we do this, like I know, I mean, I can run 75, 80, 90 miles without even blinking an eye right now. And that's crazy from a year ago to think that I can do that. So there is no upper limit right now, which is why this whole thing is exciting, because I have years of experience in front of me that I can just keep pushing the limit.